Welcome back to our podcast. Today we have a very special guest, Mohamed Isa, founder of Exhilarate Academy, award-winning speaker, and a mountain climber. Thank you for joining us, Mohammed.
You're most welcome. Thank you so much for having me.
We're so happy to have you today.
My pleasure.
I want to start off with a question. I introduced you through your titles.
Yeah.
But if your family or friends were to be here and introduce you today, how would they introduce you?
Oh, that's a difficult question. I don't know. I need to ask them. Well, my family members most likely will say that he's a fighter. That's what would they say. He's a fighter.
He's a fighter.
Yeah.
So what gave you that title?
See, I come from a very humble background. Nothing at all. So when people see what I have today in terms of let's say the success I had, everything, they would think that I came with a silver spoon or a gold spoon and handed over to me, but it wasn't that case at all. So we come from a very humble background, and we lived in a very small house. It was a complex family house. So basically 2 floors, 1 room for my uncle, 1 room for my dad, and the ground floor was the place where my grandparents lived. Very tiny, less than 50 square meters.
Okay.
And it wasn't marble or tiles or anything. It was just like the old houses. Sand, seashells, and built with stones and mud. And you can see palm tree trunks in the roof. So that was our beginning. That's how I started in this life.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how did you go from that, and then what kind of motivated you to be where you are today?
I think I became mature early on in my life. I decided to do things my own way. For example, when I was 12, I started thinking about investing in real estate.
MashaAllah, when you were 12.
I was having this 60-page notepad and writing how much I can make in rent, and I was imagining collecting the rent from the tenants, knocking the door. Hello, it's me again. Where's my money? So I had that vision from a young age. So this was when I was 12. When I was 13, I decided to become a certified public accountant.
Okay.
And that's very early, very early age.
Early.
And the reason is, I usually sneak into my uncle's room, and I used to do that just to, put perfume. Sometimes I steal candies from his room. And one time I saw a guide, a little guide, career guide, published by the Rotary clubs at that time in Bahrain. And it had different jobs, profiles. And I used to flip through the pages, looking at the salaries, that's it. So I was looking for the job that would give me the highest salary possible. And at that time, it was 276 dinars. I looked to the title, it was the accountant. I said, that's it. I'm becoming an accountant. What does that mean? I don't know, but I'm going to be an accountant. So early on, I decided to be in the commerce stream in high school. I never bothered to go to the science stream because I had this vision. I need to be an accountant. To be an accountant, you need to study commerce, and then you need to study accounting. You need to get either a CPA, which is the Certified Public Accountant, or get the version from the UK, which is the ACCA. So that was the drive. I wanted to be out from whatever my family was going through.
Yeah.
I didn't want to live that life. It doesn't mean that being poor is a shame or something like that. Not at all. That's what you had. But this is what I tell people. Where you start is not under your control. Where you end is definitely under your control.
Yeah, and that's definitely something really powerful, because you're controlling what your life is, essentially. So from that, so the money was kind of the drive for you to be an accountant?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So did you go and do those certifications?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah?
So I'll tell you what. During university, I signed up with the multinational giant Unilever 3 months before graduating. So I joined their management training program in the finance department, and I did my studies. I went to the US, I cleared the CPA exams. I came back, I was moving between Dubai offices, Jeddah and Dubai, and
Inshallah,
ultimately
before you
I
were
came,
graduated.
yeah.
Okay.
So I came back to Bahrain in 2004, exactly 20 years ago. At that time, I joined a startup company, and everyone now is talking about startups. So at that time, I joined a startup company as CFO, Chief Financial Officer, and I remained with that company for more than 11 years. In December 2015, I left the corporate world, and this is what I'm doing now. When people tell me, what are you doing these days? I say this. I speak, I write, I travel. That's what I do.
Nice.
Yeah.
So you've built that for yourself.
Absolutely.
Now.
So
Yeah.
when you reach the CFO position, it means you have reached to the pinnacle of the finance profession. So I was just reporting to the CEO. So
And
I did that.
yeah, and as a startup, like, how could it differ from being, like, how was the journey of being a CFO from the beginning to the end of the 11 years? What did you go through?
What I did during these 11 plus years, other people dream of. Because at that time, we took the company public. We handled the IPO of the company, the initial public offering. We cross-listed the company in Kuwait Stock Exchange, on Kuwait Stock Exchange. Then we raised debt. We did so many things. We did corporate restructuring. We did rebranding. So many things. We established so many subsidiaries and associate companies, joint ventures. And I'm talking about billions of dinars, or rather billions of dollars.
Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing. And you mentioned earlier that you were interested in investing at the age of 12.
Yeah.
That's something that's, quite frankly, it's not that normal. So what would you advise, 3 tips for someone aged maybe 12 to 19, 20, sort of my age, 3 tips to start investing?
You can start investing small. You don't have to have thousands of dinars. So even if you can invest $100 a month from a young age, that's a good start. The other thing, the best investment you can have is investing in yourself.
Definitely.
So I say to everyone, not only the 12 and the age range you mentioned, invest in yourself. Are you reading books beyond the school books or beyond the university books? Are you reading articles? Are you listening to podcasts? Are you learning things every day? Now at time we didn't have any laptops or smartphones. We had limited access to everything. If you wanted to read something, you need to go to the public library, or in the university, go and borrow books from the university. So we didn't have anything. Now everyone has access to everything. But are they using it or not? That's something else. So that's tip number 2. 3, talk to people. Talk to people. Go and talk to people. You can get so many ideas from other people if you just listen. Today, around 3:30 to 4, I'm meeting someone. His name is Dr. Sunil Gupta. He taught me mind mapping and 6 thinking hat back in 2001 when I used to live in Jeddah in Saudi. So I'm meeting him again. We met a few times during all this time, but today I will have the privilege of having him exclusively with me, no one else. And yesterday he delighted me with a voice message saying, I want to know about your Himalayan adventures. And after you tell me about your adventures, I want to tell you what the son of Tenzing Norgay is doing to generate millions of dollars using the Himalayan experience.
Wow.
So if I didn't initiate this contact, initiate this coffee meeting, I wouldn't have had access to this knowledge or lessons that he's planning to share with me today. So just talk to people.
and talk to people. And some people even say to have a specific budget for these coffee meetings, like every month. These coffee meetings, as you say, it's networking and
It's
gaining
not only
knowledge.
networking, it can change your life.
Yeah.
One contact, one idea can change your life. There is a book
Definitely.
called Never Eat Lunch Alone. Never Eat Lunch Alone. So here is a book idea too.
Okay,
have.
so if there was one book that
Yes.
you suggest anyone to read, or me, recommend to me, what would you recommend?
One book only.
One book only.
All right.
It's the only book I'm going to read in my life, maybe.
Yeah, I cannot say there is only one book that you can read and that's it, because we live in a changing world, and you cannot just read one book and expect everything to change suddenly. So if I would recommend having one book to start with, there is a book called, a very old book, 101 Ways to Promote Yourself. Because we're living in the age of personal branding. If you don't brand yourself in the right category or in the right zone, you will not achieve so much in your life.
Yeah, and actually one of my questions to you today was going to be, what do you think of personal branding?
It's a must. It's a must. You should have it. You should have it. I'm surprised. There are some people that I know, until today, they are not on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
And LinkedIn is the place to be if you're a professional. So social media is one way of building your personal brand.
Yeah, definitely. And LinkedIn has a lot of exposure, and it just links you with people who are like-minded individuals. So I definitely agree with that.
Absolutely. And even the other social media outlets, Instagram and Facebook, if you know how to use them. For example, this week I subscribed to a website where you have access to 9,000 magazines and newspapers using only one subscription. So being someone who's interested in mountains and climbing, there were so many magazines within the website. And I'm planning to do my doctorate in expedition leadership.
Wow.
So I saw some articles that were so interesting to me. I reached out to the authors, either on LinkedIn or on Instagram. I'm already in touch now with two of them. We exchange messages. So what I want to do is I want to host them in my podcast to learn from them, and all what I learn will feed into my PhD studies.
And that's really smart as well of you to do that as well. And I wanted to ask, why do you climb mountains?
It's a deeper question. Usually I answer it in this way to the general public. I would ask, if I go on a climb mountain, I need to be fit. And they would say, right. And then I say, is there anything wrong with being fit? They say no. So, okay, that's reason number one. Reason number two, if I go on a climb mountain, I have to make extra money, more money. Is making more money a good thing or a bad thing?
Obviously a good thing.
It's a good thing.
Yeah.
So that's the two reasons I give them. But beyond this, there are so many things that I could say. One, you meet great people. Great people you meet when you go and climb or hike. Today, as I was driving to this nice studio, I saw someone who I met in May 2022 in Nepal, Kathmandu. He's from Kuwait. His name is Fadl. And I didn't know. He's an artist. So he's having a workshop this month teaching how to sketch cartoons. So you meet these kind of people.
Yeah.
So again, networking. The other thing is the exhilaration, the personal satisfaction you get from climbing a mountain. There are so many reasons. I can speak for a few hours on that. But this is what I tell people. Find a passion that can translate into business. So when I went to Everest Base Camp in May 2022, one of the things that I did before going to the expedition is to open a new folder called Everest Speech and another folder called Everest Book. I have the Everest speech. I have been given it since July 2022. I have delivered this speech throughout the GCC, multiple times. In fact, this month I delivered it already twice. So the book is already finished. It's in the draft form. I just need to revise it one more time and release it. So if you can link what I'm saying, you can see that everything feeds into each other. So the mountain climbing feeds into my speeches, into my books, into my life experiences, which again generates money for me.
Yeah, because it's also something you're really passionate about.
Absolutely.
But I want to dig deeper. So that's something you would tell the general public, right?
Yeah.
But still, why do you climb mountains aside all of that? Like a deeper,
Why not?
you know?
Why not?
Why yes?
Why not? Why not? Because as I told you, I tell people two reasons, the money and the fitness.
Yeah.
But if you go beyond this, the personal satisfaction, the people you meet, the countries you travel, the cultures you become aware of. I can speak Swahili a little bit now.
Oh, really?
Because I went to Tanzania for the
So
mountains.
how do you say hi?
Hi, Jumbo.
Jumbo. Okay,
Yeah.
so we'll learn something new
Yeah,
today.
absolutely. So, and they have so many Arabic words originating from Arabic, like Rafiqi, which is Rafiq.
Yeah.
Yeah, a mate. So you learn so much when you go on these expeditions. And why not challenge yourself? I'll tell you something. Life passes. Whether you're doing something useful, productive, helpful for you, for the community, if you don't do, your age or your life is just passing by and you're not doing anything. It's just like those people who work in one organization, be it in the public sector or the private sector. You ask them, how many years of experience do you have? They would say 25, for example. It's not 25. They have been doing this job for the last 25 years, year in, year out. They haven't learned anything else. So it's not 25. It's maybe 1 year multiplied by 1 year's experience multiplied by 25.
Yeah.
So I believe in a growth. I believe in having a growth mindset where you grow across all your areas in your life. And if you speak to a life coach, they will tell you need to grow spiritually, physically, monetarily. So we need to think about our life and how we are growing. Because if you're not growing, you're not standing still. You're going backward. Because other people are growing.
That's right. And Mount Everest Base Camp.
Yeah.
I've heard a lot of stories. This is kind of deep and sensitive, but there's been a lot of stories where people have seen kind of bodies and horror stories. Did you see any of that?
I haven't seen anything because what you're talking about usually you see when you go to the summit.
Okay.
There is a difference between going to the summit and to the base camp. So when you go to the base camp, it's 5,364 meters high. It's almost 6.5 times Burj Khalifa height. But when you go to the summit, it's 8,848 meters, which is the height of the airplane. So there's a huge difference between going to the two different points. Base camp you can do within 2 weeks. The summit, you need to be there for 2 months. So yes, people who go to the summit, they can see they can encounter dead bodies frozen on the mountain. But again, this is part of the process. You need to learn, you need to manage risk. So why did these people die? We need to study the reasons and avoid having the same fate if we are prepared mentally and physically. So I'm telling you, mountains are more than just climbing.
Yeah. And what's your favorite mountain that you've climbed?
Kilimanjaro, which was in Tanzania, the highest mountain in Africa, will always be something I remember forever. Because during the climb, you see different levels of forest, alpine deserts. The topographies change as you walk. And if you really think about it in a deeper sense, climbing mountains is a meditation process because you're outside in the nature. Again, there are things you can do, way A and way B. Way A, you just climb, you go to the summit, you take a photo, you come down. Way B, which is the better option, is you meditate, you think about what's around you. For example, the last day when we descended to the last camp, there was a stone bigger than this room.
No.
And I told someone who was working with me, because that day we were walking alone, the group left. They were walking so fast. I told him, Mohammed, stay. Let's walk so slowly. Let's enjoy this. We're going back to the city, and then we're going back to our homes. So everyone finished this distance maybe in 2 hours. We took 3 hours and 40 minutes. We were enjoying the sceneries, we were taking pictures, we were laughing, and we were thinking about our surroundings. So this biggest stone is most likely was thrown by a volcano, which is the mountain, Kilimanjaro. So maybe thousands of years, millions of years, I don't know. But when I came back to Bahrain, I measured the distance between the summit, which is the volcano, and the stone, the big stone, or a big rock. It is 12 kilometers. So that makes you think, how powerful is the volcano? If the volcano can throw this rock or stone 12 kilometers away. So if you just go and climb, take pictures, there's no point.
Yeah.
I just say don't climb.
It's nice to soak kind of
Yeah.
the nature that you see. It's
Yes,
taking it all
absolutely.
in and actually thinking about it.
Absolutely.
So the name Exhilarate, so
Yeah.
you have an academy, Exhilarate Academy.
Yes.
I feel like it's linked to the climbing as well.
It wasn't linked exactly to the climbing. It was, I used to operate by the brand 3D Speaking, because I started this brand in early 2011. And I used to give speech coaching and public speaking workshops. And 3D speaking is something I came up with, is how to speak to the mind, touch the heart, and tickle the funny bone. That's 3D speaking. So with the evolution, with the passage of time, I came to do more than that. So this brand was not enough for me. I needed to think of a new brand. So I created Accelerate Academy. And Accelerate is just a play with the word accelerate, ACC. And instead of ACC, I made it X. And when I found that the websites, the social media handles were available, I said, this is it. I'm going to take this. So this is Accelerate Academy.
Okay. And what's the purpose behind Exhilarate Academy?
I have a grand vision for Accelerate Academy. So in the future, I hope it will be the place where you can go and find online courses that are relevant, that are pragmatic, not just any course. This is where I will have speech coaching and masterminds. This will be my platform in the future.
I like also the public speaking side of it. So if
Yeah.
you were to bring that onto it
Yes.
as well.
I think one of the things that people need to work on and invest in themselves is public speaking and communication, because most likely you will graduate from high school and university without doing so many presentations and speeches. When you go to join the workforce, you will have to have that skill. Otherwise, you will not succeed.
Definitely. And in Bahrain, we have Toastmasters.
Yes, absolutely.
What do you think of Toastmasters?
It's a great organization. I was a member in Jeddah. I was a member in Dubai. I was a member in Bahrain. And I used to compete at the highest levels when it comes to speech contest. I represented Bahrain in the Middle East many times.
MashaAllah.
Yeah.
As part of Toastmasters.
Yes.
Okay, and how many years were you covering the Toastmasters?
I joined in October 2002, and I became inactive in 2012.
Okay.
But during this process, I have achieved everything that I needed to achieve, including becoming a distinguished Toastmaster, which is the highest level. You need to finish a communication track leadership track, and then you become a distinguished Toastmaster.
And in terms of Exhilarate again, so why does it have to be you that's that source? Like, you have your purpose and you want to help people. Why you?
Why me?
Why you?
I think anyone should leave a legacy. Anyone should touch the lives of other people. I make a point every now and then. I update a figure in my mind. And I think I have spoken to more than 18,000 people since I started speaking. So to touch the lives of others, that's a privilege that I cherish so much.
Definitely. And what's something that you could give advice to someone who's a bit nervous in terms of public speaking?
There is someone called Bill Goff. He used to be the president of the National Speakers Association in the US. And he had a very nice saying. He said, "I'm not scared because I'm prepared. I'm not scared because I'm prepared." So if you prepare, your nervousness, your fear will be definitely reduced.
Yeah.
So prepare.
Yeah, and some people don't like preparing just because they feel more nervous when they prepare.
If you don't prepare, good luck.
Yeah.
It's just like saying, I want to drive my car to Kuwait, but I don't want to fill it with gas.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
True that. And what is your favorite speech that you've given, other than the Everest?
My favorite speech? I have a speech called The Brakes. Everyone is telling you to accelerate and speed up, but at times you need to hit the brakes. So this is something I delivered back in 2010, and it was I was among the top 6 in the Middle East. It was part of the international speech contest where you are supposed to be a little bit serious, but although I was supposed to be very serious or a little bit serious during the contest, I remember having 16 laughs during my speech, which across 5 minutes.
Wow. And you counted. You counted.
Because I have the video, so you can count.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And the breaks, like, speak to me more about that. How you believe in taking a break is a good thing as well.
When you climb a mountain, you need to take breaks. When you study, you need to take a break. When you work, you need to take a break. We are, even machines, if you go to industrial companies, big companies, they have periods where they have shut down maintenance. So they shut down the factory, they maintain the equipment, the machines, so that they have better productivity. We are human beings, we need to be productive, but in order to be productive, you need to refuel your body and your mind so that you can be productive for a sustained period of times.
Yeah. And I think that's really important because right now there's kind of a trend where hustling is the way to go and no days off and all of this stuff. So
I don't subscribe to that at all. I think we need to rest, we need to refuel, we need to re-energize. Otherwise, we cannot achieve so much.
Yeah. What about the hustle now and then rest later?
Well, I hustled a lot.
Yeah.
And thank God I achieved a lot. But again, you need to rest. You need to rest. I still hustle. I could rest and not do much, but I prefer to be busy. I prefer to be productive. When people talk about early retirement, I never think of early retirement. I never think of retirement. I think I will work as long as I can be productive. That's it.
Yeah.
And I think the biggest example of someone who's doing this to the highest levels is the famous actor Arnold Schwarzenegger. He became a bodybuilding legend, he became a governor, he became an actor, and he's still active until today. I think he's 75, and I think he believes so much in being productive. He just released the book, I think a year ago or 2 years ago. The title of the book just says it all: be useful. be useful.
Yeah.
So if you're sitting idle, you're not useful.
If you're what, sorry?
If you're sitting idle, not doing
Okay, yeah,
anything, you're not being useful. So
True.
being useful is where you work, where you, for example, write, where you help the community. I remember one time there was a video of him in California. There was a hole in the street. So they contacted the municipality. They were supposed to fix it. They didn't come. So he just went and he bought some cement and he brought some rocks and mixed it up and he filled the hole. So that's being useful.
Yeah. And he just did that out of nowhere.
Yes.
And he's just, okay, that's
Yeah.
really interesting.
That's my neighborhood. This is my neighborhood. I will not wait for the municipality to fix it. Let me fix it myself.
Have you had something like that where you saw something on the road or something and you were like, let me be useful? You had a
I
time.
cannot give specific examples on that, but I try to be useful all the time, all the time.
Yeah. And I think it's really important as well. The more productive,
For example, I just remember something. I used to have 2 towing ropes. One very solid, very expensive, and another one I think I bought for a few dinars. So I remember seeing someone, his car broke down, and I asked him, he had a friend with him, helping him. I said, do you need any help? He said, do you have a towing rope? I said, yeah, I have one. So I gave them the cheaper one. I said, this is the rope, you can use it. And then they said, how can we give it back to you? I said, just take it.
Yeah.
That's being useful.
That is being useful. And actually, the other day, my car stopped on me in the middle of the road. And when I tell you,
me.
I was in Zellaga. I was standing outside, right? And I was putting my hand out. It took 20 minutes for someone to come back and be like, do you need help? I'm going to go get petrol for you.
Yeah.
So that's something that really stunned me.
All right. I'll tell you something, since we are speaking about car that breaks down. It's nice to have this story within the episode. I remember in Jeddah in the Hilton Hotel back in 2001, I was having a course. And at that time I used to wear thobe, with the whole thing. So someone from Oman saw me in the lobby and he rushed towards me. And I was thinking, what does he want? What does he want? So he came to me, he introduced himself, he shook hand and said, I just came here to check on you. If you need anything, I'm here to help. And I was thinking, oh my God, look, he's so kind, he's so kind. So I was telling this story to a cab driver in Muscat. And I told him, I fell in love with Omanis since that day. And he asked me this question, is this the best story you have? I say, yeah, as far as I know, yes. He said, okay, listen to the story. I used to work in the police force. So I was leaving the late night shift around 2:30 in the morning, and I saw a Kuwaiti car, a GMC Suburban, and they had a flat tire. So I stopped and greeted them and said, is there anything I can do for you? The driver, the Kuwaiti gentleman, said, yeah, we have this flat tire, but I don't know how to change it. He said, okay, I'll change it for you. So he opened the place where they put the spare tire, and it turned out the spare tire was bad as well. So it wasn't good. So he told him, there's no point of changing it because you will not be able to go anywhere. Where are you going anyway? He said, I'm going to Salalah. He said, look, let me take you with your family to a hotel, and I'll deal with the situation, but now it's too late. No one can fix the tire. Give me the keys. I will take care of the matters. He said, what about my car? It will be left in the street, and maybe the police will take it away. He said, no, I am the police. I will tell my friends that this car should be here. I'll come and deal with it in the morning. So he took him to the hotel. Next day, early morning, he took his eldest son. They drove to the car. They brought someone from the garage. The garage owner brought a towing car. They towed the car to the garage. He told him, look, all these tires are so bad. If they are going to Salalah, they'll not make it safely. we need to change the tires. So the Omani gentleman told him, change them. They changed the tires. He drove the car back to the hotel. He gave the keys to the receptionist and said, this keys belong to this room. Just say hi to them. And he left. So the Kuwaiti gentleman called him. He said, I need to pay money. He said, no need to pay money. You are our guest.
Wow.
That's being useful.
That's the definition
and
of being
generous.
Useful. Yes. And kind.
And being hospitable.
That's amazing, honestly.
So I wanted to make sure that we have this in this.
No, that's a really lovely story.
Yeah. So
that's
inspiration
amazing.
is everywhere. All you have to do is look. Look for it.
And I feel like everyone can give that.
Of course.
It's a choice.
It's just like saying thank you and please to other people. Doesn't take anything from you. If you smile to other people, it doesn't take anything from you. It doesn't cost you anything.
It's akhlaq as well at the end of the day.
Absolutely.
And what do you think of akhlaq in the work environment? I feel like it's maybe the most important thing to get to.
They teach courses about that. Civility in the workplace. Civility in the workplace. So if you're brilliant, if you're smart, if you're shrewd, but at the same time no one will like to work with you. I know many people like that. Yes, they are smart, they are experienced, but other people are afraid to deal with them, whether inside the company or outside the company. Because they have created this boundaries. So it needs to be something that should be given, especially in our region. It should be given, that you need to treat other people with dignity, respect, and appreciate them.
Yeah, it should be there. It shouldn't be taught by an employer, for example. It should be there. It's something.
Should be from the family, starting from the family.
Definitely.
How we deal with each other, and absolutely, ultimately, it will be reflected in wherever we go.
Yeah.
I see myself as the unofficial ambassador of Bahrain wherever I go, because when you are representing your country outside, you need to give them the best of the best. You need to make them feel we should go and visit this Bahrain. We need to go and see these Bahrainis.
Definitely. And that's really nice, actually. I'm sure when you go climbing with different countries, you do give that vibe.
Of course, we need to. And I'll tell you something. When we were trekking to Everest Base Camp, there are the people who are going to the camp and the people who are returning from the camp. So whenever we encounter people coming back, we always ask, did you make it? Yeah. Oh, congratulations. Well done. And you see the smile on the other side. That's enough.
Yeah.
That's more than enough.
They would feel
and I like to surprise people, I remember meeting some Polish people, couple, and I told them I went to Poland 2 or 3 times. Where are you from? He said, no, you will never know the name of our area or our city. I said, is it Uj? Oh my God, how do you know? How do you know? Because even Uj, the way it's spelled in English, is totally different. It's spelled like Ludes.
Okay.
But when I said Uj, they were surprised. Yeah, they almost say, instead of Uj, OMG.
So how did you know?
Because I was there.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's the beauty of traveling.
Yeah.
You meet different people, you know other cultures, and you surprise people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I enjoy surprising Indian people, especially from Kerala, because I can tell when they speak, whether in their language or in English, because they usually have a very heavy accent. So I can tell that they are from this place, and I surprise them with a few words and phrases.
MashaAllah.
Yeah.
MashaAllah, that's really cool. Oh.
Yeah.
I don't know what he just said. He could have
I was counting.
Okay.
I was counting. So just surprise people, when you travel, try to learn the culture, immerse yourself. That's life well lived.
that is life well lived.
Yeah.
And I want to ask you also, speaking of life well lived, what does success mean to you?
Success definitely not having the big bank balance. So many people have big balances, but they are miserable. I think success is living life on your own terms. Having control of your schedule, doing what you like, having fun and more fun. That's success. Having an impact in the community, that's success. It's not money. Money is good. Some people say money is dirt and other things. No, money is good. Money is good. If you give me money now, I'll go on a cruise for 111 days across 50 countries. Yeah, all I need is, maybe someone is listening, all I need is 125,000. Sponsor me, I'll speak about you for the rest of my life. So money is good, but it may not guarantee success. It not guarantee happiness.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Definitely. And who's your role model growing up, and who has made a big impact on who you are today?
I tell you, the role model I have, no doubt about it. He's the uncle of my dad. His name is Ibrahim Dahi, and he's a hard-working man. He was a man ahead of his time. I wrote an article about him on LinkedIn, I think 2 years ago. And he didn't stop working until he was in the early 80s. He only stopped because of sickness. He was elegant. He dressed so well. And he spoke English eloquently, although he didn't go to school. He self-taught. I remember one time he was calling me. He said, Al-Hamad. I said, yes. He said, don't say yes. Say, I beg your pardon. I was thinking, oh my God, wow. How does he know this? So he's my role model. Yeah, that's the ultimate role model I have.
Okay, and how has he impacted your success today?
When you have someone from your family, again, he came from a very humble background. He worked, I don't know for how many 100 fills in Babco, yeah? But he invested in himself. We go back to investing. He used to go to Manama. He used to go to one of the merchants, I think one of the Al-Tajir family in Manama. So he taught him how to write, read, and he taught him English. So he used to invest in himself because he knew with education you can do so much. So when you have someone close in your family, someone you see, that's a good role model. We can speak about Bill Gates, Steve Jobs, Elon Musk, but they are not from here. We cannot relate to them. But when you see someone from your family, that makes a big impact.
It's like they did it, so I can do it too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I think it's really special to have someone from your family, especially to be a role model. So I wanted to ask you, writing your book, you've drafted it now, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
What were the challenges in writing a book? That's not an easy thing to do.
When it comes to this book or other books, it starts with the idea. You need to start with the idea of the book and why you want to write the book. And then you take it from there. Perhaps you work on the table of contents, what kind of chapters you want, and what will be included in the chapters, just highlights. And then it's the matter of writing, being consistent, writing day in, day out. Sometimes I don't write. I have books that are delayed. But I keep in my mind I need to finish them, because there's no point of starting a book and not finishing it. So sometimes different things play in your life and they delay your projects, but you need to be pushing.
Definitely. And I can't wait for this book to come out, for the record. When do you reckon it would be published?
Q1 2025.
Hello.
Yeah.
Excited for that.
Yeah.
And everyone stay tuned for the book. We'll definitely promote it as well.
Thank you.
To wrap up, kind of, we ask every guest to ask the next guest a question.
Oh.
So
I know one podcast that does that.
yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
The question was, what is something you learned today that maybe you could do better tomorrow?
What is something I learned today that I can do better tomorrow?
Yeah.
I work with AI a lot these days, and I have purchased an AI course. So I think any person, any professional should never miss the AI wave. As we speak, I'm cloning myself. There will be a clone of Mohamed Isa on AI. I already booked the domain, mohammedisa.ai. My clone now can answer phones, can answer questions on the web, and very soon, stage 2 will be a clone that can generate videos of me, given talks and given courses.
Wow.
So if you are missing out on AI, I feel sorry for you.
Yeah. And as a clone, do you mean like could he respond to your texts as well? Or?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wait,
you
how?
You can go to the website and you can ask anything and it will reply to you.
Is the website it's ready?
Not ready yet.
Okay.
But it's there.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's incredible, honestly.
Yeah. So my idea is in the future, if you can't access me live or physically, you go to my website and you can ask me anything.
But then would he answer, clone Mohammed, would he answer as you would?
Yeah, because I'll be teaching him.
This is incredible.
Yeah.
Wow.
So all my articles, all my books will be fed into Mohamed Isa the clone.
Hello.
So he will know how I sound, what do I know. It's amazing times.
MashaAllah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
And what question do you have for our next guest?
Question, I need to think of very challenging question now.
Take your time.
No, it's not challenging. I want them to answer this question. Are you taking notes?
Yeah, I mean already it's going to be in the video. But
Yeah, I want them to answer this question. What kind of legacy you want to leave after you're long gone? What kind of legacy you want to leave after you are long gone? That's a very deep question, and I hope they think about it. Everyone who's listening to or watching this podcast, think about this. What kind of legacies or legacy you want to have when you are long gone?
That is a beautiful question, honestly, and it's very deep, as you said. And I'm excited for our next guest to answer this.
Good luck.
Yeah, good luck to them, honestly. Can you answer that question?
My legacy is very simple. I'm pushing content. I'm pushing inspiration. As I said, I touched the lives of more than 18,000 people. And I'll be happy just to change the life of a single person. Because when you do that, there is a multiplier effect. You change his or her life, they change their family's life, their families, they change other lives, and it goes on.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. It's been an incredible episode. I really enjoyed it, and I'm sure everyone is going to enjoy it too.
I enjoyed it as much as you did.
Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. Inshallah, please stay tuned for us for our next episode. Thank you so much, Mohammed, for
You're
coming.
most welcome.
Thank you so much, and see you next time.